Hello, I'm OBX Toycat, and welcome back to episode 254 of my Minecraft Xbox Updated Ventures Let's Play. This is a Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the Xbox 360, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in this particular episode, I'm gonna be terraforming the mountain, which is really just a fancy term for destroying, the mountain. Because as you might have noticed, if you've been watching the Let's Play for a while, this core part of the Let's Play, the flatland, which I did build by hand, by the way, has been slowly, reaching into the mountain, because I don't want it to go out any further, because there's literally the wall at the edge of my map there, and there aren't many directions to go except inwards, and since I didn't like the mountain anyway, I've been slowly knocking it down, as you can see from that, as you can see from this. And, basically, I wanted to do one last section, or I'm saying one last section, but there'll be more, because we've at this really weird situation where it kind of curves into a direct square right here. That's right, the mountain is a perfect square, or a perfect right-angled turn there, which I guess in Minecraft is always a thing, but, it's very, very bizarre to look at, and I think even if we remove this and we make it, diagonal a little bit, it still needs a lot more work, so I'm going to be terraforming this a little bit, making it a bit more even, hopefully, and that's the dream. We'll see if we can actually succeed or not, and that's all we'll be doing. So, that's what we'll be doing with the gameplay part of the Let's Play, which, to answer a couple of common questions, which I don't think I ever answered, but I haven't answered them. I was going to say I haven't answered them for a while, but if I haven't answered them ever, I guess you could say I haven't answered them for a while too. It's first of all, is the gameplay live? Yeah, with the Let's Plays, I think it's a cool part of the idea for Let's Play on YouTube, because people have been Let's playing video games for a while. I think the live gameplay is always a thing. So I'm playing right now. For instance, I'm going to pull out my potato next. Oh, there's my potato. I guess I could have recorded that anyway, but yeah, just trust me that it's live, and I guess it could easily not be live, but if you have your conspiracy hound, I'll let you believe that if you'd like to. If you'd like to believe it's all a conspiracy, and I'm just trying to make you believe it's live, that is something I will allow you to believe. That is one of the things I will let you do. But yeah, and the second most commonly asked question is, do I script that intro? Because I say, this is episode, blah, 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 and I'm doing this. It's not actually scripted, it's just something I remember. I don't actually script any of my videos. I scripted, a few videos way back, years ago. I'm talking, not even Minecraft videos. I don't think I've ever scripted a Minecraft video. I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, I hadn't actually ever scripted a Minecraft video because of the fact that I think, the best way to even, I've written scripts before, and then I always ignore the script and kind of go off on it on my own, and I'm like, oh, that's actually better that way. So, even if I was going to write a script, I especially don't do it for Let's Plays. These are just whatever I'm saying at the time. I think it's called stream of consciousness, when you're just I'm going to say the words that I'm thinking at this exact moment. So, if you think about it, you're kind of hearing thought toy cat instead of, instead of mouth toy cat. That sounds weird. I'm gonna, retract that last point. Let's start talking about some stuff then, shall we? So, I wanted to kind of talk about in this episode of the Let's Play something that sounds weird because I wanted to talk about what we talk about, or what, we as people talk about. Yeah, that's what we talk about. Because, basically, I've always found it bizarre that there's a lot of rules when it comes to talking to people that seem counterintuitive. For instance, when you meet up with a friend that you haven't seen for a while, you shouldn't ask big questions. You shouldn't ask questions like, so hey there, Jimmy Bob. I wish I had a friend named Jimmy Bob, but hey there, Jimmy Bob. So how's what job do you work these days? Something like that, a big question, like where they work, this big key detail of their life. Asking questions like that, even though you'd figure it would make you make someone be like, yeah, closer to you or whatever. But as far as I can tell, they actually, they kind of detach to people. And I think the logic behind that must be that, they assume everyone close to them in their life knows that. And when you ask them, it reminds them they're not. But it's very counterintuitive. And along the same lines, if you ask someone, hey there, so, if you talk about, big issues, in this Let's Play, I talk about really big, I guess, kind of, I don't know how you describe them, but, I spoke about, how space and stuff and time, how it's not real. Those sorts of issues people also don't like discussing because, they're big, they're scary. And I think I've always found it bizarre that there are just some things that we talk about and there are some things that we don't. Because you'd figure, if there is something we'd like to talk about, we'd talk about it. And, there are a few exceptions where it's I don't think anyone wants to talk about that, so we probably shouldn't. But there are also a lot of things where people want to talk about them, but they just don't. And I've always found that to be a very, very weird thing. Also, is this a good enough curve for the mountain? It looks just about good enough. We'll take it for now, but we can work on this later. But Yeah, so we just plan this now. But yeah, I've always found it the most bizarre thing that, there are just some things that we want to talk about, and there are some things that we don't. Because, for instance, if right now, it kind of reverses to some extent on YouTube, because I imagine that's why people put up with my talking about how, like, oh, is time even real? Or, like, space won't even exist one day, or, something ridiculous like that. I imagine that maybe on the internet it reverses. So I guess we could do a test right now. I can't actually gauge the reaction, but would you like to hear about what got me into playing video games? Or would you like to hear me talk about jelly for a few minutes? So since I can't actually hear your reaction, I'll prove a point by being like, okay, let's talk about the most insignificant of insignificant things, right? Jelly. That's something I've just come up with, so I don't know if I have too much to say about jelly. But yeah, jelly is a very interesting thing, right? Like, because, no, get this. So, although space is cool, jelly is both a solid and a liquid. Which is it? No one really knows. Like, actually, it probably is pretty well defined. I bet if I Wikipedia'd it, it would just say, oh, jelly is actually a liquid. It just sometimes pretends to be a solid. But yeah, jelly is a bizarre thing, right? Like, no, actually, it'd be a solid because it doesn't fit its container, I think. I don't know what the official definition is, but yeah, isn't jelly just the craziest? Fun little story about jelly. When I was younger, like when I was like 12, I guess, and I was like hungry and I didn't have money, and I was like, oh, and I don't want to just go hungry all the way home because I used to walk maybe 45 minutes to school. I actually always walked a decent way to school, but yeah, whenever I was, like walking to or from school, whatever, I'd be like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. Oh, jelly, because you can buy store brand jelly, at least at any major store in the UK, for like literally 17p. I think it might have been cheap back then. I think it was 13p jelly. It was something ridiculous, which in cents, by the way, is like 20 cents. So very, very cheap jelly. And what I do is, because you don't buy jelly as a jelly, you buy it as super concentrated jelly that then spreads out to everything else. So I'd buy the small things of jelly, right, and then I'd go ahead and just swallow it whole. And I can only assume the reason it filled me up is because in my stomach, the acid or whatever, it kind of treats it like hot water, because, your internal body is actually quite warm, and then it would make jelly in my stomach and then digest that jelly. I don't know what the science is, but pro tip, actually, I'm not going to recommend doing this, but, if you have jelly nearby, you try eating just one of the little chunks, and you're like, wow, that is super, super filling. So, yeah, that's my jelly story. I'm not a doctor. I think there's probably problems with that. Actually, if there isn't okay, so again, this is with a big asterisk here. If there isn't problems of just eating jelly whole, I think it might be a really good diet suppressant, because a lot of people eat because they're hungry, and imagine you'd eaten so much jelly that you just couldn't eat. Actually, that sounds terrible. I'm gonna distance myself from any comments I've just made. But yeah, wasn't that story about jelly way more intriguing to you than than the story about how I got interested in this or that? And I think that's always a bizarre thing about how, I guess, people work. Maybe what it is if I try to tell that story, if I tell you something big, like, dealing with depression or something like that, although, that might be really cool and specific and might help someone, I think talking about the big things maybe gives you a bigger expectation. I don't know, I've always been confused. Also, can I go to sleep? I can't. What was I doing in here then? I guess my inventory was full. Yeah, that's what it was. So let's get back out and let's get working on the flattening again. So that's kind of the point I wanted to raise here with talking about big issues. I think it's bizarre that people only want to talk about big thing. People only want to talk about small things, and that's kind of a good thing, because I'm not exactly going to disagree. I love it when you meeting someone new for the first time, instead of asking them, oh, what major are you doing, or that's not what we ask in the UK, but I'll ask like, what are you doing there? I'll instead ask a more fun question like, so what's your favorite brand of jelly? By the way, don't actually ask that one. That's a terrible one, but it actually does work to some extent, and yeah, that might be a pro tip for life right there. Ask small questions, because the big questions fill themselves in, maybe? I don't know. That sounds like a really good life pro tip, so I'm going to give it out right now for free. Potentially good life pro tip. Maybe everyone just thinks I'm weird and they just go along with it. Like, does anyone else ever have this fear, right? That everyone else just kind of thinks they're a bit off and they just kind of will go with it because they're like, well, I don't want to tell that guy that he's weird and eccentric. Because again, you might notice I talk very, very fast. That's not something I actually do in real life. It's only because on the internet I'm like, I want to say so much, I need to get it all out there fast. But I prefer to talk about the bizarre things. I think a conversation about the ludicrous display last night, that football game. I think that's something you can have with almost anyone, or like a conversation about how that car is this, or insert conversation here that you can have a billion times. But I think a conversation about I'm gonna try and make a better example here. A conversation about jelly. I love that is a genuine point I can reference now. It's kind of a cool one. So yeah, that's that. But at the same time, I also wanted to kind of every now and then I'm like, because I discuss semi-serious issues in this. I do kind of want to deal with very, very serious things because one of the things that has blown my mind and has been like, whoa, that's kind of crazy, is once or it's actually happened a couple of times now, but a couple of times, and to you this might not seem so weird, but I've had people message me and be like, that video where you discuss this, that really helped me deal with this, or it really helped me get undepressed after a while, and it's like, whoa, that's a lot. I just talk about this. So I hope that tiny example, by the way, I don't know if they're still out there, still listening to me, but if you did send me that email, then I do remember you, and that's shout out to that one person that probably knows who they are. Or I guess the point I am circularly getting to here is that no matter how talking about something directly isn't the best way to talk about it, and it's one of those bizarrities of humans being humans, and whenever I say humans too much, I always worry that I'm starting to sound like a robot, because I reckon there's a decent number of people. Also, we got 3 creepers. Should we kill the creepers? Let's kill the creepers. I reckon there's a decent number of people that could believe I'm an alien just infiltrating humans, and that's what this Let's Play is all about. Leave a comment with your normal human conversation topic. I guess that'd be a robot, wouldn't it? I don't know, why can't robots be aliens? That's my big question. But yeah, so pro tip apparently, because I've always I've never actually figured my videos were great for dealing with a serious issue, because I talk about the Minecrafts, I talk about, I don't know, space and stuff. I rarely talk about something as serious as that, and the reason for that is because one of the reasons that I don't decide to talk about, again, something I have a lot of personal experience of dealing with, depression, dealing with that sort of stuff, is because of the fact that one, if you say something like that, it can kind of have the opposite effect on someone. Also, I don't think I can actually flatten any more of this, so I guess let's remove the ground and let's replace it with dirt. So, but yeah, one of the problems is if you make a statement like that, it might have the opposite effect on someone. If you give someone really good advice or potentially good advice, for every person that you positively affect, you can negatively affect on too, because if someone's like, wait, I'm not doing this right, or this, that's a problem. And second of all, one of the problems with saying things on the internet, and this is why I try to stay away from anything opinionated, except my favourite, brands of jelly, apparently. But one of the reasons I try to stay away from anything too opinionated on the internet is because on the internet, your opinion is permanent, and that's not how it is in the real world. If I say, to my buddy Jerry, yeah, Jerry, that's a name. I like making up names here because it's surprisingly tricky for me to do. I can't do it. But if I talk to my buddy Jerry there about my favorite brand of jelly, that's just something I say once, and then he's like, oh, okay, then I'll bear that in mind. But if I say it to the internet, now you all know and there's an expectation that I continue to be that way. And I think the real problem with saying an opinion on the internet or somewhere publicly is that people expect you to stay with it forever, and that's something I think is the opposite of what we should encourage people to do. Obviously, I think maybe in the real situations with politics, maybe we should make the people do that. But when it comes to situations let's start using the start over there actually to get our far into it. But when it comes to situations, me, for instance, if I say that, I'm actually, I think the best way to do this is to do. Okay, let's get a really simple example. My favorite block in Minecraft. This is a question I get asked so much. I don't understand why. Is it a common Minecraft question? But yeah, a lot of people always ask me, "What's your favorite block in Minecraft, Toy Cat?" And I'll be honest, I don't have a hardcore favorite that stayed with me forever. I think if you've asked me that question and I probably answered it in live streams, you've probably gotten 3 different responses. And to a lot of people, that makes you seem like you're being inconsistent. But again, I don't think that's how things should be. I think you should be willing to change your opinions over time. Like, a lot of people get into this bubble of, like, I'm gonna stick with my opinions exactly how they are right now forever. Like, it's just something people do. They're like, oh, well, I've worked it out. Let's stick with this, and now we can't change because we've already made a public declaration. I don't think that's how it should be. I think it should be like, well, I used to think this, and that, but that's actually not correct. Actually, Z, Y, and 12 is... It's meant to be X, Y, and Z, or Z, Y, and X. But yeah, and I've always found it bizarre that you're kind of encouraged to stick to the same opinion, because I think something we should encourage, and this is a pro tip for you right now. This is something I can say, even though this is an opinion, and technically could change, is that you should treat your opinions as if they are something entirely separate to your being. A lot of people, like, if you make... I don't want to give a specific example. If you make being a member of political party X or being a member of religion Y like a part of your core identity, you shouldn't do that, because then you can't. If you want to, if your mind wants to change away from it, you literally cannot. And although that sounds great when you're in something, I think just locking yourself down into something for no reason, it's terrible. Imagine someone right now could your current job, let's say, or your school, I guess. Wherever you are, whatever you're locked down to doing right now, imagine if someone's like, you can stay here for a year, or you can stay here for 5 more years, and we can sign the contract, and it's legally binding, and you literally cannot leave. You're mine forever. Wouldn't you be like, what? Can we take the year one, please? And that's how I feel people should be their opinions. So yeah, the reason I try to avoid being super opinionated is just because people try to stick you to your opinion. What is my favorite block in Minecraft? I've probably answered like 50 different blocks by now. Currently, I guess orange wool. Look how nice orange wool is. It's so great. Like, it's just it looks so smooth in your hand. It looks a bit like orange stained clay. It's just a nice block. But maybe that changes. Of course it'll change. It's not really my favorite block. But yeah, hopefully there's some sense in that too. Whenever I finish like a sentence, I'm like, I don't think I just made sense there. So that's why I always like to add that little disclaimer. Like, if you've been following that and you've been like, Toy Cat, maybe chill off the insert thing here, then, just ignore what I said and move on to the next thing, which I'm saying. So, yeah, I think this looks actually pretty good. Given what I was working with, it's not so bad. And I reckon what we just need to do now is... this, I think we need to chop down half of this layer, like down to there, just so it has a slow gradient up there too. Because it seems so weird that it... Yeah, I think if we chop down some of that, it'll do some good. So that's what we'll do now. We'll chop down like that down to like halfway across, and that'll be pretty good. So I think that'll be like mountain terraforming done for now. But yeah, saying opinions, especially on the internet, means people expect to have them forever, and that's not the best of things. So yeah, that's that right there. So I guess the same thing goes for memories, but in a good way, because I kind of worry that I'll like contradict my own memory, and if you do contradict your own memory on the internet, you shouldn't assume, oh, this story's made up. But I think a lot of people, like, people don't really appreciate that memory is a really, really fickle thing. Like, I think this I think I'm picking this up from TV shows, so maybe I'm horribly wrong on this. But like, the thing about memory is everyone trusts it with this 100% certainty, but it's really like it's kind of like hearing a story from your buddy Dave. See, oh, that's a nice normal name. Didn't even have to think about that one. But yeah. So you're talking to your buddy, your pal Dave, and he tells you this story about how he caught fish this big. Imagine my hands are really outstretched, and you're like, okay, Dave. And then imagine you go out and catch it. But from his perspective, he thinks that he actually did catch the fish that big, and that's how you should treat your memory. You should always, like, I didn't even realize until like it came up a few times, but your memory is something you have this like massive trust for. But it's something you probably shouldn't do. So I don't think I should go too much into that one, because I guess it almost starts to contradict the other words I'm saying. But I guess to kind of round up things, there are things people don't talk about for reasons that probably aren't too important. I think people should talk about anything, but I also think that if you want to play by the rules of the system, a really fun pro tip is to talk about the small things. To talk about the smaller the thing, the more like an intimate issue it is, which is bizarre, but it's a thing that's a thing. And then also, I think, I don't know, maybe keep your opinions separate from your opinion of yourself, because otherwise, when you change those opinions, as one should. Ooh, one should. That's me being a fancy British person. But as you probably should at some point, then you end up with really weird issues. And a lot of people, you know, if you ever wondered, like, why does this person, or like, you know, why does this family member, like, they've been like that forever? It's clearly quite wrong. But it's like, at some point it becomes so ingrained you can't lose the impression of it. And that's always been that's always a problem, right? I don't think anyone would agree that's a good thing, or think that's a good thing. So yeah, that's the little pro tip right there. So I think this is just about terraformed enough. I think we now put a layer of dirt on top of this, and then it'll look like it's part of the mountain. Actually, we'll make it a little bit less even first. So, oh jeez, never mind, I guess then. So yeah, we'll just give that a look and see if it's like the right kind of height. I think, yeah, we need to make it a little bit more rocky. But I think if we do that, then it at least looks, because it will like kind of join up with that, and something good will happen. And then also get rid of that block there, because what is that even doing there? So yeah, that is my Terraform Mountain. That is my opinion on opinions, and yeah, that's my opinion on opinions. Oh yeah, okay. So I get this. I spoke about what people speak about, and I gave my opinions on opinions, without really giving any opinion, or without really talking about anything. If you think about it. Heck yeah, I didn't realize I was doing that. So yeah, I hope you did all enjoy this episode of my Minecraft Xbox Updated Ventures Let's Play. If you did like it, please do like it and let me know. It helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do like it. Share if you really likes it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and if you're subscribed, you'll see them all daily on your homepage. I'm going to go ahead and, hop off and do some other things. But if you do enjoy the Let's Play, I'd recommend letting me know in the comments. Because if you don't know, this is like the least, checked out for my series. But it's one that I think is doing better little bit by little bit. So if you really did enjoy the episode, let me know. If you didn't, if you're like, Toy Cat, I have this complaint, let me know in the comments down below. I really like constructive feedback, like this mini side point. But if you say something like an incoherent, like, oh, Toy Cat, this is terrible, that's I just ignore your comment. But if it's like, oh, Toy Cat, I think your audio level was slightly there, or Toy Cat, I think that sometimes you should do this, that. If you say it reasonably, then it's a chance. It has a chance of actually being gone through. So yeah, I hope you did all enjoy the video. If you did like it, I said that stuff. So I guess there was something I wanted to say, but I forgot it. So I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.